Welcome back, everyone. So welcome back to another deck profile video. This one's going to be in the Bad Ideas Good Times folder, but upon further review of this deck, I'm not sure anyone's going to have a good time. I built this deck kind of as a joke to take my mind off of preparations for the Las Vegas Regional coming up next weekend, just to date the episode. So I've been pretty stressed about that, trying to figure out what my deck is going to be, and I thought, I need to make a fun deck, a goofy meme deck, just to have a good time with and kind of take my mind off things. So I came up with this Present Mic 2 deck, and while it is going in the Bad Ideas Good Times folder, I don't think anyone's going to have a good time with this. This deck doesn't look fun to play against. This deck doesn't look fun to play. I'm still going to do it. I'm still going to troll with it, but woof, this is a grindy one. So the character is Present Mic 2 from the Crimson Rampage My Hero Academia set. He was regarded as abysmal, and he still is kind of just regarded as not a real character. He is a 7 hand size, 17 health character. Considering we're seeing 7 hand size characters with 22 health, we've got Kendo, who can become an 8-hander and has over 25 health. 717 seems a little low. He's got the Chaos, Fire, and Good symbols. He has an Enhance, playable only during your attack. Discard the top 4 cards of your rival's deck. So your rival mills 4. Your attack gets +1 damage for each attack discarded this way. So, kind of cool. You might get 1, maybe 2 damage off of this each time you use it, but you can kick 4 cards off the top of your rival's deck. And then he has a response once per game. After your rival plays an attack or an action card, discard it from the card pool and cancel its effects. So basically, it's a Genkai's Guidance. On face, once per game. You get to just kick an attack and say, get out of here. I'm not dealing with you. So, bit of background on me. I played Yu-Gi-Oh! For over a decade. I know, I feel sorry for me too. I actually played Yu-Gi-Oh! Since before it came to America. I collected the Japanese cards and looked up what they did and played with my friends. And any cards we couldn't find the translations for, we just made stuff up. It was kind of fun. But one of my favorite strategies was mill, getting my rival's or my opponent's deck down to 0 cards. I loved just seeing the light die in their eyes as they realized they lost a key piece or a key strategy before they even had a chance to try it out or to get a hold of it, and just the total disruption that mill can do. In Universus, however, mill is incredibly difficult because of cycling. And if you're new to the channel, new to the game, and you're unfamiliar with cycling, check the How to Play playlist down in the description, my Hermit School of Universus. There is a video dedicated to explaining what cycling is. But, abridged version, once your deck runs out, you shuffle your discard pile again, remove the top 10 cards of your deck, and keep playing as normal. And you can do this up until you have no more cards left. So, milling someone out in Universus is incredibly difficult. But I wanted to give it a shot. So I built this Present Mic 2 deck because every one of my attacks, I get to mill you 4. I get to take 4 cards out of your deck. And if I can count cards, which, even though I grew up in Vegas, I can't count cards. I'm not that good at math. That's why I married an accountant. But it's really tricky, and I wanted to see if I could do something like that. Trouble is, I would either be dealing with Sir Night-Eye or Present Mic. Sir Night-Eye, I think, might be the better option. So since this is a bad idea, I went with Present Mic. And I went on the Chaos symbol, as you can see up here, with, I forgot what I named this. Oh, man. I'm dumb. I'm either dumb or I'm clever. It depends on who you talk to. But let's get into the attacks here. So we're starting off with 4-dimensional sphere. This is a 4 difficulty, 3 control, 5 mid for 1, 1 mid block. It's got charge, ranged, and stun 1. It says response, after you block with this card, remove the blocked attack from the game. When this card leaves the card pool, remove it. So this activates on block. As soon as your check to play the block is successful, you activate this response, it removes the attack from the game before it deals damage. So this is great against throws. This is a great partial block considering it's a 1 mid. And it keeps our very low health total safe. And then it has an enhance. If this attack is not blocked, draw 2 cards and discard 1 card. So as a 1 damage stun 1 move, so this is basically a 6-speed 1, which we might not even get damage off of Present Mic if we force them to mill 4 non-attack cards. They're likely not going to want to block it, so we get to draw 2 and discard 1. But it's mainly in here for the block to remove an attack from the game, automatically making sure they don't have access to that attack anymore, even if they cycle. Next up, we have 2 Queen Beams. This is a 4 difficulty, 3 control, 4 mid for 6. Again, another +1 mid block. It's got Fury and Ranged as its keywords. It has a static that says if this attack is blocked, it deals no damage. So if they partial block it, deals no damage. Full block it, deals no damage. Then it has an enhance. Add this card to your hand. You may not play copies of it this turn. Now, aborting your own attack can seem kind of dumb, especially if you can't play that attack again. But what this means is as long as we have at least 1 Queen Beam, we have access to Present Mic's enhance every turn. Every turn we're guaranteed milling 4 because we can play Queen Beam, activate our enhance to mill 4, and then if we have no other ways to mill, we can just activate Queen Beam's enhance, pick it right back up. So we don't have to worry about progressive difficulty for it. We don't have to worry about it getting blocked and doing nothing. And on our next turn, if we don't need the +1 mid block, we can play it again, rinse, repeat. So as a fun little 2-of, I think that's a really good way just to guarantee you're automatically going to mill 4 every turn with Present Mic. Next, we have Turn It Up. A 4 difficulty, 3 control, 5 mid for 2 with a +2 low block, charged and ranged keywords. It has enhance, both players mill 1, so you and your rival will discard the top card of your deck, respective decks. If your rival did not mill an attack, this ability may be played again this enhanced step. Now this doesn't say maybe played a second time, or maybe played 1 more time. So each time you mill, as long as your rival doesn't mill an attack, you can keep doing this until your rival mills an attack, which could be useful for maybe getting another 4, a better roll on the +4 for Present Mic. Honestly, we don't care about damage in this deck. We just care about milling. And then enhance, this attack is +X damage. X equals the block modifier of the top card of either player's discard pile. So if we have like a +3 or a +4 on the top of our discard pile, we can get big stats. If our rival has a +3 on block modifier on the top of their discard pile, we can get big stats. If we can force our rival to block, that's good because that's a card out of their hand, and it's a card out of the top of their deck because they had to obviously make their control check. The more we can force our rival to check, the better. Moving on, Cheerful Uppercut. A 5 difficulty, 3 control, 5 low for 4 with a +2 mid block, charge and punch as its keywords. It says enhance, discard 1 momentum, this attack is +4 damage. Sure, it's a 5 low for 8, trying to force our rival to block, so they have to mill another card basically with their control check. And then response, after you block with this card, both players add the top card of their deck to their card pool face down. So while this does make your cards harder to play on defense, this makes your rival's turn more difficult by stuffing a card in their card pool, and that card comes from the top of the deck. 1 less card that you have to worry about in their deck. Again, if you can count the cards, you know exactly how many times you need to mill them to trigger a cycle, and then mill even more. So, pretty fun defensive piece. And then we've got I'm Not Screaming. My wife just went to bed, I'm not screaming. We have Yeah, which is about what people said whenever they pulled this out of a pack, considering it's an ultra, just yeah. It is a 6 difficulty, 2 control, +1 mid block, a 2 mid for 8. It's got charge, ranged, and a combo with the requirements being attack, low attack. So you have to have attack, low attack, yeah, making this an 8 difficulty move. So for the combo enhance, it says ready all cards committed to pass the check to play this attack. basically playing it for free, unless you really can't afford to play an 8 difficulty attack, which is fine, because we're not playing it for that reason. We're playing it for the enhance. Your rival discards cards from the top of their deck until they discard 4 non-attack cards. So, 9 times out of 10, you might mill Foundation, 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 Attack, Foundation. That gets 5 cards out of their deck. Then you can combo with Present Mike's Enhance, mill another 4 cards out of their deck. That's 9 cards. That's almost a full cycle discarded from the top of their deck. Pretty good. And it's only here and here as a 2 of, just to maybe play it as an opener. I've got cats under my chair. It's basically just here as a fun opener. Again, our rival doesn't want to take 8 damage, so they want to block this, so they have to make a control check. And if you can get them 4 from Present Mike, 5 from make them make a control check, that's practically a cycle. Then we have Vocal Discord, a 4 difficulty, 3 control, 2 low for 5 with a +2 low block. Charge and ranged again. A lot of the deck is charge and ranged, and part of that's going to come up here in a minute. But it says enhance, discard the top 2 cards of your deck, remove the top card of your rival's deck. So you mill 2, and you remove the top card of your rival's deck. Just automatically gone from the game. Pretty cool. And then enhance, this attack gets +1 speed for every 4 foundations in your rival's discard pile. So when you're milling with Present Mike 2, you're filling up their discard pile with foundations, making Vocal Discord incredibly hard to block. So either they take the 5 damage, or they have to commit a lot of resources to try to block it. And we kind of want some momentum for some of our tools we'll see here in a little bit. And then lastly, we have Save a Million Strike, a 3 difficulty, 3 control, 2 mid for 2 with a +2 high block. Charge and Slam is its keywords. It says enhance changes the zone of this attack. That's fine. Probably will never be playing this as an attack because response, after you block with this card, add it to your momentum. We need momentum for things, which you will see here in a little bit. So that is our 20 card attack lineup. It is mainly here to be things we can play Present Mike 2 enhance on, and then very defensive blocks like Dimensional Sphere, Cheerful Uppercut, Save a Million Strike, blocks that really net us something. So moving on to our non-attack cards, we have assets, starting up with 4 Cape of No Return. And I know that sounds insane because it's a unique asset, but it's a 3 difficulty, 4 control, +3 high block asset. It's unique, so you can only have 1 in your stage at a time. But I guarantee you, once you have 1 out, you're going to use it in the next turn, because enhance, remove this attack from the game. This just says you can use Present Mike 2 again. You just, as an enhance, remove the attack that your rival's playing from the game. Remove it completely, they don't get it back, do not pass go, do not collect $200. So I want to see this card as many times as I can in a game, so I would not mind drawing a hand, seeing 2 of these, play 1, save 1 for the next turn, because I'm going to remove your first attack that you play another Cape of No Return on my next turn. I'm going to make sure that you are playing as few attacks as possible that can hit me. Moving on, we have Gold Tips Imperial, a 1 difficulty, 5 control with a +2 low block. It says response, after you block with this card, build it committed. Another block that clears itself from our card pool, pretty good. And then response, after your end phase, if you did not deal damage this turn, but played at least 1 attack, add the top card of your deck to your momentum. So if the only attack we play is Queen Beam, we play it, we mill with Present Mike's enhance, and then add Queen Beam back to our hand, and then we just build out a bunch of foundations, we still get a momentum from Gold Tips Imperial, which momentum is going to be a helpful resource here, as you'll soon see. And then our last asset is 2 Knots Flask, a 1 difficulty, 5 control with a +2 mid block. This is from the Critical Role structure deck. It has a static, after you build this asset, add 3 booze counters to it. If there are no booze counters on this card, your attacks get -3 speed. Aw, we don't really care about that. It says enhance, commit, remove 1 booze counter. This attack gets +3 or -3 damage. We don't care about dealing damage, we care about lessening damage though. So if we have to partial block, or we have to take a full attack, it's great to commit 1 or more Knots Flasks and remove 3 damage per flask that we commit. Really good way to keep ourselves alive, considering in this format, 2 attacks can kill us. especially if it's like a younger Toguro. But the fun thing with younger Toguro is I've got Dimensional Sphere, I've got Cheerful Uppercut to keep you honest on progressive difficulty, Present Mic gets rid of your attacks, Cape of No Return gets rid of your attacks, and some other ways I can get rid of attacks here too. So hey, this could be a fun gag if you've got someone who's running younger Toguro and just terrorizing your locals. Slap this Present Mic 2 together and just aim to make their life miserable. One of those, you're locked in here with me for an hour and I'm just going to make you suffer for it. Knots Flask also has another enhance, once per turn, mill 3, so discard the top 3 cards of your deck. If you did not mill an attack this way, add a booze counter to this card. So if you really need the damage negation and you can count how many cards you've got in your discard pile, how many attacks, there's probably a good chance that you can guarantee at least 1 extra booze counter. Again, I can't count cards, so what do I know? But moving on to actions, we have 2 Genkai's Guidance, a 1 difficulty, 5 control with a +3 low block. It says, first form, remove, discard 1 card, so you remove Genkai's Guidance and discard a card. Your rival discards a card. Fine. But response, destroy 3 foundations. After your rival plays an attack, remove it from the game. Present Mic 2 again. So, Present Mic 2, Cape of No Return, Dimensional Sphere, Genkai's Guidance. I don't want you playing cards. I don't want you playing any attacks. I want you to sit there and watch me use this giant Mohawk man screaming in your face for an hour. Maybe I'll take game 1, especially if you just decide to give me game 1 to move on to game 2 to try to kill me as quickly as possible. This deck's just going to be annoying, and I don't think anyone's going to have any fun. And then lastly, for actions, we have Battle for the Future, a 3 difficulty, 4 control, with a +4 mid-block. So that's great to see with Turn It Up in your discard pile. It has the Infinity symbol, which for those of you who don't know, Infinity means you can play this card in any deck, in any character, regardless of which symbol you've built your deck on. I've built it on the Chaos symbol, but you can run Infinity cards because they are kind of like treated as any symbol. It's just a free type of card you can play. And this one says, response, discard 2 momentum, a resource we like to have with Gold Tips Imperials, saving a million strikes, stuff like that. After your rival plays an attack, discard it from their card pool, and then when this card leaves your card pool, remove it. Again, I don't want you touching me. I'm going to stand there and scream in your face so you can't touch me. So between Genkai's Guidance, Battle for the Future, Cape of No Return, Present Mic 2's once per game, and then cards like Dimensional Sphere, I aim to just get rid of your entire attack lineup so you can't beat me. I mean, if I can remove most of your attacks to where you're drawing gray 3 turns in a row, it doesn't matter, because again, every one of my turns, I'm going to mill at least 4 cards from you, as long as I've got a Queen Beam. That's at least one attack, that's at least 4 cards I get to mill, and I'm just going to make you cycle even faster. Once I get someone to cycle once, that's 10 cards you never get back. And then if I've removed other cards, like with Cape of No Return and Dimensional Sphere, that's more cards you don't get back, and you're just going to be sad. So moving on to foundations, we have 4 Fearsome Transformation, a 1/5 with a +3 high block. It says enhance flip, draw 1 card. If you have no momentum, discard a card. We want momentum. Gold Tips Imperial, save a million strike, any of these things that can add themselves to our momentum. We just want that +1 draw. Speaking of momentum, we have Hiding in Plain Sight, a 2/5 with a +3 high block. It says enhance, add this card to your momentum. If your rival is at Desperation, add the top card of your deck to your momentum. So when you add this card to your momentum, with its enhance, if your rival is at least half dead, so their current health has to be less than their half of their total health, you get another momentum. So if your rival's been taking a lot of damage, or cutting themselves with like abilities like Hiei, this 1 card can fuel 1 Battle for the Future. Pretty cool. Speaking of defensive momentum, we have Protecting Yukina, a 2/4 with a +1 mid-block. It says response, discard 1 momentum. After you block with this card, the blocked attack deals no damage. It is a +1 mid-block that can make you deal no damage on a partial. As long as I have momentum, Hiding in Plain Sight, Gold Tips Imperial. Our momentum is basically a defensive resource as opposed to an offensive one. And then enhance, destroy, add the top card of your deck to your momentum. If we're forced to build one of these, we can pop it for a momentum and then defend ourselves with that momentum. Next up, we have Elasticity as a 2-of, a 2/5 with a +3 high block. It's got 2 responses, the first of which is Flip. After an attack is blocked, the next attack this turn gets +3 or -3 damage. If I block with my Dimensional Sphere, removing your attack, your next attack is going to get -3 damage. And then I'm going to Knots Flask for another -3 damage. You just lost 6 damage with me blocking and turning an asset sideways. Sorry. And then response Flip. After your rival plays a stun ability, cancel it and add the top card of your deck to your momentum. If you don't want me having my defensive momentum, don't stun me. Just let me have my foundations. Don't touch me. We're fine. Then we have Nice Try as a 2-of, a 2/5 with a +3 low block and the taunt keyword. It says Enhance, commit, this attack gets -2 speed. We like blocking. And then response, after your rival's combat phase begins, ready this foundation, playable while committed, or Tenacious for newer printed cards. So this is just something we commit on our turn to pass our checks, and then ready up to commit for -2 speed and make sure that our great blocks are really working for us. Next up, we have Broken Psyche, a 2/5 with a +3 low block. It says response remove after you take damage from an unblocked attack. Add 1 card with a check value of 6 from your discard pile to your hand, playable while committed. I don't think we have any 6s, so we're not using that. But we do use the Enhance, Flip, discard 1 momentum, change this attack's damage to 2. We only have 17 health. The less damage we take, the better. So defensively using our momentum, drop an attack's damage to 2, and then if we wanted to, we could Knots Flask to drop it to 0. That's always fun. Then we have Decoy Duplicate, a 2/4 with a +2 mid-block. It says response remove, discard 1 momentum, so you remove Decoy Duplicate and discard a momentum. Discard this rival attack from the card pool. They may draw 1 card. So again, you're not going to touch me, but you may draw another card, which is another card I don't have to worry about milling later. So, could help your deck destruction math. They could draw another attack though, so that's dangerous, but if you're removing a bunch of their attacks, maybe that's a price you're willing to pay. Then we have Easily Excited, a 0/5 with a +2 high block. It says response once per turn. After an attack is played, it gets +1 speed and gains taunt if it does not already have it. This was just a 0 diff with a 2 high block, and maybe I could use the speed to push something through to try to gain momentum if I needed to. I think I just needed the high block, if I'm being honest. Then we have Hype Man, talking about high blocks. A 2/5 with a +2 high block. It says, enhance your turn commit. Both players mill 1. If both cards were not attack cards, ready this foundation. If we both hit a foundation, or an asset, or an action, or a character, I get to ready this foundation. And then on my next attack, I can do it again. And then response flip, after your rival plays an ability that discards any number of your momentum, cancel it, playable while committed. So even if it has to stay committed, it protects that valuable defensive resource of our momentum. So they can't stop us from playing Battle for the Future, or honestly, Battle for the Future, protecting Yukina, Decoy Duplicate, Broken Psyche. It's also kind of late, so I'm running on empty a little bit. So Hype Man, really cool 4-of. We can constantly mill our rival's cards on our turn, really just forcing as many cards out of the deck per turn as possible. Then we have Struggling with Studies, a 1/5 with a +3 low block. It says enhance flip, if this is your rival's 3rd or greater attack this combat phase, add 1 card from your card pool to your hand. So if we've got some really good clearing cards like Gold Tips, Save a Million, we're not going to worry about that. But if we've had to block with something like Cheerful Uppercut, and it forced a card into our card pool. Also, if you pick up Dimensional Sphere or Battle for the Future, those cards would be removed, so you don't want to try to pick those up. But this is more of like some of your mid-blocks. If you're forced to block with a Cape of No Return maybe, and you wanted to pick it back up to play it, it's just a good defensive piece. And then response, before one of your foundations would be flipped due to a rival effect, flip this foundation instead. So this protects cards like Broken Psyche, Decoy Duplicate, Hiding in Plain Sight, Elasticity. It helps protect our foundations that we're trying to use defensively. Next up, we have 4 Confused, a 2/5 with a +3 high block. It says enhance flip, remove 1 attack from your rival's discard pile and choose one of its keywords. This attack loses that keyword and cannot gain keywords. So this means cards cannot gain stun by effects, they cannot gain throw, they cannot gain powerful. And since this says keyword and not specifically trait or ability, you can remove cards like stun or EX or echo and force the card they're currently playing to lose that keyword. So if it's another copy of that card, you can basically nullify it and make sure it can't gain keywords. This also removes an attack from the game from their discard pile. So you've been filling their discard pile, you can remove their best attacks, so when they cycle, they don't get those attacks back. So that furthers your plan of, once I make you cycle, you're going to have even less resources to deal with me. Next up, we have Hottest Performances Guaranteed. This is a 2/5 with a +2 high block. It's got a Chaos Enhance, so you can only use this Enhance if your character has the Chaos symbol. This is a Chaos deck, so of course we have the Chaos symbol. This is Enhance Commit, discard the top card of both players' decks. The player who discarded the card with the highest difficulty chooses one of the following effects. If the difficulties match, ready this foundation. So if the difficulties match, neither of the following effects are activated, you simply ready this foundation. And then the abilities you can activate are, this attack gets +4 damage, this attack gets -3 speed, or gain 2 health. So if you play this on your attack, and your rival mills the highest difficulty, they might choose to gain 2 health, or get your attack -3 speed. If you're playing it on your attack, you might choose the +4 damage or the gain 2 health. If you're playing it on your rival's attack, they're obviously going to want to get +4 damage on their attack if they discard the card with the highest cost. Or you could give it -3 speed, gain 2 health. So basically, you treat this as, I am activating this effect, whoever gets the highest difficulty. I hope I made that make sense. Maybe I did, I don't know. Like I said, it's late and I'm kind of running on empty. And lastly, we have Final Exam Failures, a 2/5 with a +2 high block. This is enhance your attack, so only during your turn. Flip, your rival makes a check against a difficulty of 6. If they fail, they destroy 1 ready foundation. So again, it's milling another card off the top of their deck, and basically forcing them, hey, you can either check a 6, and you're fine, or you check a 5, you commit a foundation, or you destroy a ready foundation, and if they hit a 3, that's great, because they either tap 3, or they destroy a ready foundation, maybe letting you land one of these moves, like a Turn It Up, or a Vocal Discord, or a Yeah, even. But, yeah, that is Present Mic 2, a bad idea. I hesitate to say good time, because again, unless you're someone like me who just likes watching your opponent get more and more frustrated as they see the cards, their deck just shrink exponentially. I don't know who's going to be having a good time with this. Your rivals certainly won't, and if you don't get a lot of good defense, you certainly won't, because you'll die in 2 hits. But yeah, I thought this was a kind of funny, kind of dumb idea that I thought I'd share because maybe someone would like it. I know there's a lot of Present Mic fans out there who are upset that he didn't really get a good character yet. But I like it. I thought it was cool. I love the Genkai's guidance on face of just, oh, I can't deal with that attack, get it out of here. And that's a once per game, but you have cards that mimic it, like Cape of No Return, Genkai's Guidance, Battle for the Future. I think you can make this 7 hand size, 17 health character incredibly tanky, and just wall your rival out with a bunch of damage reduction, a bunch of speed reduction, omni blocks like Dimensional Sphere and Protecting Yukina, and just sit there and watch them slowly devolve into eye-twitching madness. So yeah, that is Present Mike 2, or as I called him, MHA Little John. I don't know. I'm dumb. I wrote that while I was at work, so I was probably also a little delirious. But let me know what you think of the deck. Do you think this is... No, I know the answer to that. This is a bad idea. But let me know what you think. Would you try a mill deck in MHA? Have you tried a mill deck in MHA to any success? I'd love to hear down below if anyone's tried it and what success they found, what character they liked. I mean, right now the main millers are just Present Mike, Sir Night-Eye, and oddly enough, Dobby 3. I've been seeing a couple Dobby 3 mills because he forces you to make checks. Yeah, if you enjoy deck build content, that's kind of my bread and butter. I love doing fun deck builds, competitive deck builds, casual local deck builds. So if you've got a character that maybe you haven't started building for and you're like, I don't know where to start, put it in the comments. I'd love to try to build decks for people, at least as like a basic how to start kind of deal. I've been doing preview reviews for My Hero Academia Girl Power. That's actually been dominating a lot of my time with the release schedule. And I will be doing Day 0 deck builds for each of those characters once the full set is released on UVS Ultra, so look forward to that. So if you enjoy this kind of content, please subscribe to the channel. I've been getting a lot of new subscribers lately. I've been getting a lot of questions on my how to play guide videos. I'm loving it. So please feel free to comment on the videos. I love interacting with people. And I try to answer any questions as this channel. I do have a personal channel that is just my name, up here, Cameron Undergust. So if Cameron talks to you on YouTube, that's also me. I just didn't get to change it over on my phone, but I try to make sure I do. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it and you think this is just a great way to give people a headache. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.